Hey everybody, welcome to Comics from the Future. Happy Friday, happy 4th of July weekend. Thank you so much for starting your weekend off with us, looking at some previews of new upcoming comics. As you already probably know, if you've seen our show before, all these comics are open order, meaning you can order as many of you want and don't miss out. In case you don't know, my name is Megan.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Jason. We're with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee.
That is right. So if you are local or at all nearby, definitely come give us a visit. We'll be open all weekend long, but if you're not, we can ship you this stuff. We ship all over the country. If you are one of those folks who gets a shipment from us every week or maybe every month, we really appreciate you. So yeah, we're going to get into it. But first, please subscribe if you haven't to our YouTube channel. And we also have Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff. So it really means a lot to us and we really appreciate it. And we're getting so close to 1,000 subscribers. So just going to say that really first this week.
Yeah, and those of you who watch the show, you just want to visit with us, get your info here. We appreciate you too. We know that's a large percentage of you, so thank you very much for subscribing and coming back week after week. It invigorates us to keep doing this.
Yes, and we love reading all the comments from you guys each week too. All right, so we're about to get into it. Once again, this is all the stuff coming out in about 3 weeks to a month from now.
First off is Superman, Son of Kal-El, #1. So this is exciting because this is replacing the main Superman title, which is very bold of DC to stop a series that is, some would argue like the cornerstone, or at least kind of the
Such a major character.
Yeah. That's like, canceling a Batman book. It's unheard of. But this is really cool because we know, if you've been reading some of Superman and Action Comics, that we are getting close to something that causes Kal-El Superman to go away, die. We don't quite know yet. But we know in the Action and Superman before this that Jonathan Kent was in the future with the Legion of Superheroes, and they know everything in the future. They've got all these records, but they are missing this little bit of time right here where something happens with Superman and he disappears from the history books. So Jonathan Kent doesn't necessarily know what this event is going to be, but he knows, hey, they will probably need a Superman when my dad is gone somehow. So this is really him stepping up into that role of the hero of Metropolis, maybe even the leader of the Justice League. We'll just have to find out. But this is written by Tom Taylor, who I'm a big fan of. A lot of people are big fans of. Even they might not even realize some of the stuff that he's worked on, but his Injustice comics that were the tie-in with the video game were a huge hit. He did all of the Deceased series, all the 4 series that they had with that.
They were just going to do a little bit of Deceased, and then it was so good.
Now they can do like a Deceased omnibus because he's done so much of it. Fantastic writer. I read this issue today, and it is great. I'm really excited to see where this goes because it does set up a lot of interesting things for the son of Superman. And if you haven't been reading Superman or Action Comics up until this point, this is a great jumping on point for kind of we've had Jonathan Kent as Superboy, but this is his first steps into being Superman, and you kind of get in on the groundwork of that, which I think is really, really cool.
This is one of those, I just buy it for the cover alone.
Yeah, it's very classic Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Damian Wayne has a pretty big part in it too.
Yeah, so a lot of people have been wondering about the Super Sons, the best friends of Jonathan Kent and Damian Wayne. What does Damian think now that Jonathan is a little bit more grown up? Yep. It's also funny because Robin is kind of off the map as well because he is with the on Lazarus Island doing all of that, and that is referenced in this. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like no one knows where Robin is, no one knows what's going on with Superman, but they still have that bond where they go to each other with kind of what's going on with their lives. So really, really cool part in that.
Yeah, I read this too, and just all the pressure he's under from who his father is.
Yeah,
that part at the beginning is really good.
Yes, yeah. So this also has some really cool variant covers. So I had the INHYUK Lee variant, which he's looking more super boyish in this one, carrying his best friend. And then we have the Stephen Byrne variant,
All right, next up is Icon and Rocket Season 1. This is more from the Milestone DC line coming out. First we had Static, now we have Icon and Rocket. So I didn't know this, but apparently for the Milestone, Icon was supposed to be the icon of their series.
Mhm.
Static, of course, saw the most interest and took off like no one expected, but Icon was really going to be that cornerstone of Milestone. So if you don't know, didn't plan that. He is an alien who landed about 200 years before present day, taking the form of a black man. And Rocket is his sidekick, and basically she kind of empowers him to use his status for good, use his, all of his powers and all that for good. So they're teamed together, and all of her powers are from a belt of alien technology. So yeah, this is going to be a 6-part series. It's written by Reginald Hudlin with art by Doug Braithwaite, and it said in the solicitation that this is going to do things you never thought a comic could do. So at least where the first part of this is going to take us is they're being hunted after trying to stop a local drug ring. So sounds like it's going to be cool. I wonder if, who knows, maybe this will be Icon being more popular than Static this time around, but I don't know. We'll see.
I think it's interesting, that they put Rocket's name in the title now. Because before, the old Milestone was just Icon. And this time around, they're like, Rocket's really important.
Yeah.
Like, get her name on the title.
They truly are a team together.
Yeah.
I don't know if I misspoke earlier. He took the form of a black baby and I guess grew up. He was a baby first. So anyway, this is the cover by TAURIN CLARKE. This is the A cover. And then we have what they're calling the old school variant.
Wow.
And I like that Icon just looks like a whole body of 6-packs.
I was about to say, his abs go all the way to his knees.
The 6-pack extends the length of the body there. So that's the old school. And then they have the new school variant as well coming up next. This is by Doug Braithwaite himself. So I think this is going to be good. Once again, it's a 6-part series. So look for it.
Okay, so I got to read this ahead of time also. I also read Superman, Son of Kal-El, and those were tied out of all the... we get to read a lot of books early, and I read a lot of them the other day, and these two are my favorites, easily. So this is Suicide Squad Get Joker. This is going to be a 3-issue series. It's under DC Black Label, so it's going to be that sort of magazine style where you get to see a lot more of the art. Also with the Black Label series, it's a lot darker. It's R-rated. There's some F-bombs. There's some creative language. But I'll tell you, I think the Black Label books have been really, really good. But I don't know if any of them, more than this one, has utilized the Black Label with the right characters. Because what do I want out of the Suicide Squad book? Well, let's see. It's a bunch of criminals forced to work for somebody who might even be worse than them, Amanda Waller. But she's got bombs planted in their heads. Okay, well, in the normal series, that doesn't really happen a lot because that would be really gruesome. I'll just go ahead and tell you, I feel like it will, if it hasn't already. I don't do spoilers, so I can't say it. But at least with this one, you get to sense it very well could happen. Past that, it was just an excellent read. So Amanda Waller goes to Red Hood and says, hey, I want you to lead Team X. And of course, Red Hood is like, why? I'm not going to work for you. And she's like, okay, but you don't know who you're going after. You're going after the guy who killed you, Joker. And after some convincing, you'll have to read how she convinces him, he agrees. So there's a new Suicide Squad team that is born, a lot of really interesting members. In fact, there are 3 members on this team where it is their first appearance.
Wow.
They've not been anything else. Like I said, I've already read this. I've looked it up. 3 new characters. The rest of the characters are from different things. Probably the most noteworthy would be Harley Quinn. She's on the team. So that's in certain solicitations you can find, which is great because, who knows Joker better than her?
Yeah.
So they go after Joker, and I have to tell you, obviously it does not go to plan. There's a lot that happens in this book. Some comics you read, they go by fast. This felt like I read 3 issues of any other comic. It was eventful. It was the art, and it's excellent. Alex Maleev doing the art. Brian Azzarello's doing the story. There were parts that made me laugh, but it is severe. And when you go after Joker, you are going after trouble. And that's all I can say. The ending of this issue, oh my lord! Like Joker does not take this easily. The last thing I'll say is there's a scene in this I think will make certain comics news because Joker pantomimes a very famous part of a very famous dark movie. My only hint will be it's a Stanley Kubrick film. It had me kind of laughing, but it's also scary. So really good read. I highly recommend it. It's got this B cover, which is also awesome. I mean, how cool is that? By that's the FORNES variant. So I recommend it. It's nice when we can tell you about these books, and we've already read them.
Yeah.
I wish they'd do that with all the books.
You just want an excuse to read all the books early.
I will eventually, no matter what, but early would be better.
So next up is another installment of the Batman Secret Files series that they are doing, which is a series of one-shots. We got Secret Files The Signal, which hasn't come out yet, but that was the previous one. Now we are doing Secret Files Huntress, which is a character that is in the Bat family but doesn't quite get the spotlight like a lot of other Bat characters do. Probably because she doesn't have the word Bat in her name. Usually that moves you up, that or a Robin.
Batress.
But this is really cool. So if you've been reading Detective Comics, this is going to be a pretty important issue to pick up as well, because this kind of ripped right from the pages of Detective Comics, the storyline that's going there about this this infection that is taking over people, and Huntress has it, but it affects her in a little bit different way, where she may even have what you would call maybe a power. It's hard to say because it's very specific, but it is a new ability she gets that is going to help her out quite a bit. So this is so tied in with the Detective Comics that even says like to be continued in Detective Comics. This is by Mariko Tamaki, and the art is by David Lapham, which is really cool because we've seen him start to do a little bit more and more art recently.
Yeah.
In a lot of the like
his bad idea
stories.
Matt and
yeah. So the art in this is awesome. It's kind of a take that you don't get a whole lot with the Bat books, but really cool. I love the cover of this. It's got an awesome variant cover as well. We have the FEDERICI variant.
Oh, and it's not just black and white.
It's not just black and white. It looks even good colored.
Yeah.
All right, next up we're going to show you a couple free comic book day books offered from DC. So these, a lot of stores, you're not going to be able to pre-order unless you spend probably a lot of money or you're friends with the owners because it's just too much to keep up with. But these are the free comic book day titles from DC. So first up is the Batman Special Edition. This is by James Tynion, which is awesome. So this is going to be our first look at the Fear State event that's going to run across a lot of the Batman titles this fall. And it's also got a backup story with the new Dark Knight Jace Fox. So definitely one to get in case you haven't heard. Free Comic Day is on August 14th this year. So a little more than a month away. And that is going to be on a Saturday. So next up, speaking of Suicide Squad, we have Suicide Squad Special Edition. And as you can see very prominently on the cover there, we have a learn more about King Shark in this issue.
He loves leaping out of water.
Which is a near impossible thing to do, but really cool looking aesthetically.
Impossible for us, but
yeah.
Shark with a 12-pack, you can do it. a lot of
he
packs
flexes
here.
And he just like launches out of the water.
So yeah, this is going to be the other free comic book day title offered from DC. Learn more about King Shark and also get a sneak peek at Suicide Squad Joker. Get Joker. So I wonder, is this coming out before? Like maybe right before? Or maybe if you didn't, it's probably going to come out coinciding to hook the people who didn't read it.
I read Get Joker, but I honestly can't recall if it's coming out. I know it is coming out later than all the other things on this final order week, but I didn't like note the date. I was too excited about the read.
It would seem probably this is going to come out before then, so you can get a little sneak peek.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, that's what's coming out from DC.
All right, so a new miniseries for Symbiote Spider-Man. This is a 5-parter by Greg Land. He's doing the art, and Peter David is the writer. So of course they're the team who did the previous Symbiote Spider-Man.
A couple
books.
of previous ones now. They've really expanded on the Symbiote Spider-Man universe.
They have, and of course Peter David's also known for Hulk, and you can see him right there on
Yeah.
the cover, and he's supposed to appear pretty prominently in this series. So the write-up on this was kind of cryptic, but what I could get from it is they're sending Symbiote Spider-Man on an adventure that goes through time. He goes to somewhere called the Crossroads dimension, and where he's going to end up is on a collision course with Peter David's Hulk. And I mean that literally, in the way that this is supposed to put him right before Peter David's like major Hulk run.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to be some like retconning, some, you know, putting a character where you didn't know they were, sort of event.
Yeah, re-seeing scenes from a different angle from that, probably.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to do. So it's got two variants. This is the SOUZA variant. Some colorful webbing behind them, like
Yeah,
some.
I wonder if that's like the time travel web or something.
Yeah, yeah. And then we have. Let's see if everyone can guess this one.
Oh,
I'm not even gonna say it.
this time his head got caught in a web.
It did. Yep.
Looks like he's sticking his head through a web and like he can't pull it back out.
Yep. Obviously, that is.
Todd Knock.
Yeah.
Headshot variant.
There it is.
Next up, I feel like the mood lighting should change or something, but this is Mirka Andolfo's Sweet Paprika. This has been a long time coming. This, if you followed Mirka Andolfo on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, she this is kind of her like pet project when she's not drawing like a main, series or whatever. This is a character that she doodles out in just different scenarios, and now finally becoming an image series. Of course, Mirka Andolfo is known for things like Unnatural, and she's worked on also main books as well, like for Marvel, DC. But where I really got to know her art and everything was in Unnatural, which this harkens to that quite a bit. So this is about our main character, Paprika, who is a businesswoman, and she is devoted to her job. It takes up her whole life, but she wants to have a love life, but she doesn't know where to start. But then this handsome delivery man comes in to the office, and he could be the catalyst to launch her romantic experiences. So what's funny about this is it definitely doesn't sound like, from the description, like a book for everyone or whatever. But that's the thing about Mirka Andolfo's work. Books like Unnatural, which had a very similar pitch, except for the main girl was a pig girl. It comes across like, oh, this is just like a romantic comedy or whatever. Unnatural started there and then got into this crazy like occults, and they're on the run, and there's this like mysterious werewolf thing. So it can start one place and go crazy, and that's kind of how Mirka Andolfo does her storytelling. So even though it may look one way, it definitely could go a lot of other places. Plus, she's writing and drawing this, and anytime she does the art, it is a definite pickup for me. She's such an incredible artist. So we have the A cover, of course, that's the Andolfo cover. Then we have the B cover, which is an art germ cover.
Showing that she's got sort of like an elf ear and a horn.
Yeah, Mirka Andolfo likes to do a lot with kind of...
And the devil tail.
Yeah, angels and demons. She had the previous series that was Unsacred, which dealt with angels and demons, but they were just like very common, just living in the real world.
From what I recall, Mirka Andolfo has dark hair that's about that length and glasses.
Yeah,
so I
it
wonder
could be
how
a
much
little
of this
bit of
she's channeling from herself.
Autobiography.
Yeah. Then, of course, we have a Peach Momoko cover.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the kind of sway that Mirka Andolfo has now. She can get in people like Art Germ and Peach Momoko to do variants for her. That's how Image is putting a lot behind this.
In a way, they all like kind of came up together at the same time. So
then we have the pink sketch cover. And we have of course, an SFW cover that that is a lot of Mirka Andolfo's work as well.
So it looks like this book is going to be like R-rated, maybe.
Yes, it's definitely a
This
mature title.
solicitation read
Mhm.
that way. There was mention of 50 Shades of Grey
Yes,
scenes,
absolutely.
Mhm.
which I only know from people telling me about.
Of course,
You
yeah.
don't. It's not on your nightstand right now.
Yeah.
All right, this looks really awesome. This is called The Last Book You'll Ever Read by Vault Comics. It is written by Cullen Bunn with art by Leah Lees, who you may remember that name from the Mom series that's coming out, written
Mhm.
by Amelia Clark. So really cool. We're going to see a couple things back to back from her. So Last Book You'll Ever Read. This comic is about a author here you see on the main cover. She has written a book. We don't know what's in that book, but basically it's essentially causing the collapse of society. This is a supernatural fantasy horror series, and despite the fact people hate her for writing this book because it is causing so much chaos, so much turmoil, but she is determined to go on a book tour, I guess to spread the word about it. I'm guessing she believes what she wrote. So she has to hire a bodyguard to go on this book tour with her, and the only stipulation is that the bodyguard cannot read the work himself or herself. I don't know who the bodyguard is yet. So really great premise. I just love reading a book called The Last Book You'll Ever Read. And Cullen Bunn said he's, as we talked about, great horror writer himself. He wrote Harrow County. He wrote The Empty Man, which they actually made into a film. So a great horror writer. Right, he's in his field, I guess, right here. So yeah, not much more to say about it except that I'm really excited about this, and I think it's going to be a hit.
I like the idea that maybe they don't even really tell you what's in the book. It's just kind of that MacGuffin that's like, it's just, this is what it does, now deal with it.
I'd be surprised if there were parts where you got to really see what was in the book. I want to know, but as
it kind of
you've
leaves
seen,
it up to your
it's
imagination.
better to,
I'm not sure. I think that's totally possible. We could see something. Maybe they don't want to totally give it away yet, but well, we're not sure what is in that yet.
That's a very strong title and premise.
That's what
I'm
interested.
It also follows the something's killing the children, or we only find them when they're dead. Last book you'll ever read. We're now into the era of full sentence titles.
That's something is killing the children. Last book you'll ever read.
That's the key to a successful book.
Okay.
You called it. Megan put money down on it, so
exactly.
Here we go.
All right, this is the Lee's cover that we just saw. Then we have the Hickman cover. And then we have a couple of black bag variants. So there's two of these, actually. I don't know if we have two different screens for it, but
it's the same. I think the black bag will probably have this, and then when you open it, surprise!
Who knows?
Who knows what it's going to be.
Can't think of a more fitting theme to have a black bag variant for. Something that you're not supposed to see. I'd be surprised if these were, nudity themed.
One of them is. We got an email. I looked at the covers. Yeah. One of them is, but they're all still very in line with kind of the horror nature of the cover, and the other one is more, I think, a little mix of adult and spoiler.
Okay, well that's good. We can actually look at them, but we can't show them to you because
So
anyway.
wherever you get your books, the main takeaway is there is a C and a D cover. So if you want all the covers, you'll have to be specific. You'll have to say, I want both black bag covers.
Two black bag.
Although that could be rough because we won't know what's in them.
Yeah, I'm not
sure.
There
should be a UPC on the back, hopefully, that
Perhaps.
differentiates.
Yeah, I know one of them is done by Lee's, the main artist, and I forgot who did the other one, but...
All right, so from Marvel, here is Miles Morales Spider-Man Marvel Tales. So right off the bat, let me just tell you, the Marvel Tales books, they're reprinting past things.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want anybody to get confused and order this thinking it's a new one, because it says writer Brian Michael Bendis, and it's like, oh, Bendis is doing Miles again. Yeah, I'll take some of that. This reprints not all of, but parts of his first appearance in Ultimate Fallout 4, and it also does at least parts of it. Doesn't tell you how much, just whatever was relevant to Miles from Ultimate Comics 1 through 5, which was pretty much his first series. So if you just want a nice big book that reprints some very hard to find, expensive, early Miles Morales, this is your book. Once again, Bendis wrote all that stuff. So I didn't note down what this costs, but I think these are usually like $7.99 to $9.99.
Yeah, they're usually
really thick. So
And a new, really nice cover on that, too.
Yep. Cool cover.
So next up is the new Dune book from Boom, which I think is funny because I feel like they originally launched the House Atreides to be like
For
in the
the
movie,
I know.
and now they're like, that's over.
We gotta
Now
do
we've got to
something else.
we got to do another one to keep the hype up. But a lot of people really jumped onto the House Atreides book, and this is kind of not necessarily a sequel, but another kind of view of that world. So this is Dune: Blood of Sardaukar. My Dune-ish is a little rusty.
I just thought you were speaking alien, you know?
Yeah.
You were adding the emphasis where it goes.
But this is actually written by Brian Herbert, the son of Frank Herbert, the original creator of Dune, and Kevin J. Anderson, who is a renowned sci-fi author, has written Star Wars and a bunch of other really cool stuff, and follows the one of the other kind of clans in the world of Dune, this very mysterious warrior clan, and it's one that they haven't touched on too much, and so we're gonna delve deep into what makes them tick in this universe. So really cool. And then I believe we have a variant cover. This is the Gorham variant.
I'm looking forward to that movie coming out.
One of
I
these
have been
days.
for a long time.
All right, speaking of stuff coming out, we also have the hit video game Horizon Zero Dawn sequel coming out later this year. So we gotta have a comic tie-in, right, folks? Okay, this was a huge hit. It sold a ton of copies the first go around, so they're doing it again. And this is got a bunch of different covers. So if you want to order it, here, just pick out your favorite here. So let's do it. This is the Momoko A cover. Then we have the game art variant.
Looks like a wraparound, pretty
Yeah.
obviously.
We have the Talibao variant.
Lots of greenery.
Yes.
But I mean, I've played the game. That makes complete sense.
Yeah.
The Malina cover. Then Wilkins.
That's nice.
Guess the name of the next one. It's blank. And then we also have a Momoko Virgin sketch cover. So going back to the first one that we saw there. So there's all the options available to you. So
I'm surprised they made that one open order.
I
you know?
know. I'm kind of
This
curious, honestly.
Seems like it would typically be an incentive, but it's like
Yeah.
somebody had a birthday over there and was like, I feel good. Let's let everyone
Yeah,
just order it for nothing.
I'm curious on that one, but seems to be the case. So
Yeah. Okay, so from Action Lab, this is the cover to a new comic. They don't have the trade dress on it yet. It is called Crash and Troy.
Mhm.
I said it like I don't know. It is called.
Troy?
It is called Crash and Troy. Now, who are Crash and Troy? Apparently, they are mercs for hire. They'll do pretty much anything, good or bad. And what they do in this issue is they are hired to do a prison break. But once they break the guy out of prison, they find out that he has plans to kill billions of people. So I guess they're in a little bit of a moral quandary. Furthermore, the solicitation promises explosions, space chases, and cat videos. I did not make that up. That's what it promises. So I guess a lot of humor. So a lot of Action Lab stuff has humor like that.
Yeah.
So
Gives
there
me
it
a lot
is.
of like Quantum and Woody or Archer and Armstrong
Yeah.
feel.
So Crash and Troy #1. There you have it.
Next up is another new book from Action Lab. This is Samurai 2.0.
Finally an upgrade.
Finally, we've had that same old Samurai for way too long. He's getting so rusty and outdated. The updates just don't take anymore. So this is set in the year 20XX. So it's kind of mysterious. After World War III has devastated the world, a new lone survivor wanders into Neo-Tokyo. He is the last graffiti samurai. And in this world, artwork has been banned by the emperor, and he is now like a renegade art samurai, spray painting the city and bringing art back to it. So, very unique concept. I thought he would maybe have like a spray paint can on the cover, but apparently he still uses a sword as well when someone tries to deface his art or something.
It looks like the bottom of his pants are full of spray paint cans.
He's trying to like sneak into a movie with candy or something. But yes, a new series from Action Lab. Looks really cool.
All right, this is another new series. This is called Runes. It is set in 850 Common Era, 850 Common Era, which is present day Scotland. So it is about a Viking, who I'm assuming is on our cover here, who after shipwrecks ends up in present day Scotland, clashing with the inhabitants. Yet there is a witch off in the back who is watching him from afar. They're probably going to team up, but he is basically only surviving for revenge. So there's a lot of mystery around this right now. But if you like Vikings, if you like old world stuff, witches, revenge, and six packs, here's a new series.
And chairs
for you.
made out of animal hide.
This is the abdominal muscle show this week.
Yeah.
No one's gonna beat Icon though.
That's just the one cover on this one too.
Okay, so our next segment, we're going to go over issue number 2s and 3s so that you remember to sign up for these with whatever shop you shop with. We're also going to show off some cool variants we don't want people to miss out on. A lot of people shop with us. They might not be on the series, but if it has a cool enough variant with their favorite character on it or from their favorite artist, they want to buy it.
Mhm.
So the first one we'll begin with, this is Batman Reptilian number 2. This is the B cover by Cully Hamner. Of course, this is the series launched by Garth Ennis with art by Liam Sharp. If you read issue 1 and you liked it, I can go ahead and tell you you'll like issue 2. I got to read a preview of issue 2. It reads a lot like issue 1. It's that severe Batman like you've never seen him. The way he jokes with Alfred in Batman Reptilian is not like I've ever seen either. A lot of gory violence, a lot of gore amongst the villains killing each other as to why. I had suggested in issue 1 maybe there's something affecting them. Might still be going on, but I will say in this issue you learn there does seem to be a character, a villain we're heading towards who is the Reptilian. And it doesn't seem like it's Killer Croc. That's the most I can say.
Well, he has his own send out the lizard signal or something in that
Mhm.
cover.
Yeah.
Next up is Detective Comics 1040. Of course, this is the Bermejo variant with Batman chained up. What's interesting about this issue, this is probably not as dramatic as this, but Bruce Wayne is in jail. And this is going to be like, can he survive a week in jail, not being Batman, but being Bruce Wayne? Can he survive, not give away that he's actually Batman? But the other thing it does tease, in a backup story, a major Batman villain gets killed. And what's the fallout in Gotham because of that? So, very cryptic, but sounds really interesting.
All right, next up we have number 2 in the miniseries Checkmate. And this is, what's going on here is to go up against Leviathan, Green Arrow has formed a new checkmate. And of course, I like how they just say it on the cover.
Yep.
What this main issue is about. Who is Damon Rose? Are they a good guy, bad guy? We don't know yet, but we had their first cameo in issue number 1. So, I mean, they're going to be telling us something about this character in issue number 2. So I really like this cover. It's really awesome. So
I do too. And you know, this is written by Brian Michael Bendis, and when he comes up with new characters, I grab a couple. So all right, so this is Infinite Frontier number 3. Just wanted to let everybody know, if you haven't signed up on this and you're interested, now is the time to do it. So Barry Allen is going to run afoul of Psycho Pirate in this. And those two haven't really clashed since Infinite Crisis, which was a huge deal back then. The solicitation also says that there is an even bigger villain behind Psycho Pirate. I have my guess as to who it is, but I will not say. Plus, as you can see on the cover, there's a new Black Lantern. We've been reading all this very carefully since Infinite Frontier 0, so we think we know who the new Black Lantern is. But I feel like, why would they say it this way if there wasn't even more to it?
Yeah.
I think there's more to it than just who it is. So if you've been reading and you already know who you think it is, I think that it left it off really weird.
Yeah.
So, but this is a big book in DC. This is supposed to set up like the new big events coming up. So, yeah.
Next up is a variant cover for Batman Superman number 20. This is the Frizzen variant. We're getting very close to the end of this series. I believe it wraps up at, is it 25?
I think it's before that.
Before that?
Yeah.
So we're getting really close to the end. It'll be exciting to see what happens, what the big blowout of everything is. But before that, you get this really beautiful Jenny Frizzen cover.
Their logo is really popping that to me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is Harley Quinn number 5. This is the Derek Chew B cover. Harley is definitely channeling some Joker vibes with her outfit there. The solicitation promised perhaps some new villains in this, so we'll see. But this is the Derek Chew B cover.
All right, one of my favorite series I've been reading month after month is Robin. This is the variant cover to Robin number 4. This is the Francis Menopause cover. We have Ravager, daughter of Deathstroke, on it. And in this issue, even though this is mostly about Robin, Ravager has been a big part of this, which has been really cool. She's apparently going to follow this new character, Respawn. Now, Respawn isn't new this issue. Respawn's been in it, but we just haven't really gotten to figure out who this character is, why they called Respawn. Well, she's supposed to follow Respawn and find out some of the secrets of Lazarus Island, which I'm very interested in. On top of that, last issue, Robin ran into Ra's al Ghul. We can talk about it now. It's right in the solicitation, so it's not a spoiler. But that was a big surprise at the end of the last issue. Robin has been getting his butt kicked so far, and Ra's al Ghul, his grandfather, who never really got to train him, he always resisted, has shown up. So will he finally get to train his grandson? I mean, I think all this is awesome. This is very epic stuff for not just Robin, but the Bat family stuff, or Damian Wayne, I should say.
I think it's also interesting. So this is written by Joshua Williamson,
Yeah.
who we know is about to launch the new series Deathstroke Incorporated. So we're seeing Rose in this. I can imagine this is going to start introducing some elements that are going to spin off into that new series. Next up is one of my favorite books I've been reading. This is Teen Titans Academy. This is number 5. This is the B cover by Philip Tan. And really cool about this issue, so if you know what happened in the last issue, you have the Bat Pack, these 3 students who are going to find out who Red X is once and for all. And at the end of the last one, they may have run straight into Red X. And in this one, it says while they are trying to figure out the origin and who Red X is, they have to reveal their origins. So I think this is really exciting that we get origin stories for the Bat Pack, the 3 of them, because we don't know a whole lot about them, because we haven't really seen like the Titans Academy go out and do a mission or do anything like that.
Right.
So what brings them here? How did they end up at the school? Did they have any powers? It'll be really, really cool to see.
That is a very cool cover.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
All right, the Sinister War continues in Amazing Spider-Man 71. So we have a couple of variant covers we want to show you. So this is the handbook cover. And okay, we're about to get into some really cool segment here. I'm only doing this first one, but I love all these. This is the Peach Momoko Marvel anime variant for Amazing Spider-Man 71. And just get ready, because you're about to see a bunch more.
Okay. So here is another Momoko cover. She's just doing a series of them for Marvel, as Megan said. This is for Black Cat number 8, the Momoko variant. This is interesting. So in the annual, Black Cat got involved with that new Tiger Force team in Korea. And it was supposed to be part of Infinite Destinies, about the Infinity Stones. But I mentioned when I did my review, it didn't really have much to do with it. Well, in this issue, Nick Fury officially hires Black Cat to steal all the Infinity Stones.
Wow.
They're not all in one spot. In fact, some of the stones are people. You know, Star has one of the stones. So, and this is not just one issue she's going to do this in. This is her new sort of arc, is try to get all the Infinity Stones she can, which I think is really interesting, because typically when people go for the stones, it's Thanos trying to power his way. Black Cat, she's a thief. She's the best thief probably on the planet. So I can't wait. I think this is really interesting. I think Marvel is ramping this Infinity Stone stuff up to something else. And since Infinity Gauntlet's my favorite, I always like when they bring them back. And I'm glad they don't bring them back like every 10 minutes at least, too. So there's the Momoko cover on that. This is Daredevil number 32, the Peach Momoko cover. Of course, if you read the last one, Bullseye has become the Angel of Death. He is doing some crazy stuff that's supposed to continue in this. Meanwhile, Daredevil is in prison, where you think the inmates would be his main problem, but they aren't. He has bigger problems than just the inmates. Next up, we have Shang-Chi number 3, the Momoko variant. So we're showing you these variants, but we tell you why you might want the issue otherwise. So to quickly tell you why, new character, Shang-Chi finds out he has another family member, which I can't believe they're writing. They just gave him all these family members, now they give him another. But this one is a mutant. And because of that, Shang-Chi is going to go up against Wolverine in this one. He's going up against Spider-Man, going up against Captain America. Now he's going up against Wolverine. This series has been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed reading them. Can't believe they're only up to issue number 3. And then this is Wolverine number 14, the Momoko variant. They're bringing back the relatively new ex-villain Solemn, who has like adamantium skin. So obviously a very good villain for Wolverine, who might stick around. I think he came out in issue 6, but now they're on issue 14. He's back, so he's at least back for one issue.
Yeah. Next up, we have the other kind of series of variants that are going on, which celebrate Captain America's 80th anniversary, and doing this really cool thing where all these characters are kind of reimagined as Captain America. So first off, we have Black Cat number 8 that we just talked about, and this is by Lionel Francis Yu. I love this one. I think this costume needs to stick around for Black Widow. This is the Mark Brooks cover.
That's the best I've seen so far.
Yeah. Then we have the Fantastic Four, where they all get to be Captain America, which I love, like Ben Grimm Cap and Johnny Storm Cap, which seems like a very effective, he's like a comet. He flies at you with a shield on fire.
The only time you're allowed to burn the American flag is when Human Torch is wearing it, doing good.
Yeah. And then we have Valkyries. This is number 4 of 5. This is by Terry Dodson. And then, wanted to talk about this as well, wrapping in with all the Captain America. This is United States of Captain America number 2, the Bustos design variant, where we have the next new bearer of the Captain America name in their locale, wherever they are in their small town, where they take on his kind of what Captain America stands for in their community.
Yeah, and I hope those of you who picked that up last week liked it. I really thought the first issue was good. Those of you who didn't, I really recommend this comic, the first issue at least. And one other thing, I told Andy, this is the first costume I've seen on a hero that I know of where they have one leg covered and the other leg not covered, but somehow pull it off.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if you were wearing anything like that. It'd be so strange.
I feel like I would walk weird, like I would put extra weight in one or something.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have a couple in the new Star Wars series of variants. So this is Star Wars number 15, the Headshot variant that we've been seeing. And then we also have Star Wars High Republic number 7, not available yet, unfortunately.
Yep.
But it's going to be the Christopher action figure variant. So if you are a fan of these action figure covers, you know what to expect. Don't know who it is, unfortunately, but
it is cool because this is the first time the High Republic are getting an action figure variant.
Cool.
And those are characters that have not got actual action figures yet. So I'm really excited to see what kind of box design he does with these, all of that. It's going to be a bunch of new with this.
That is very cool.
I know, that's why when I saw there was no cover, I was pretty sad. I was like, this is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, they're spending more time on it.
I think so. The other ones, it's like he's able just to do off the work he's done previous, and this is like ground up.
There's a lot of big key characters that'll be cool to see who they start out with.
Yeah, so once again, I would pre-order this with your store because stores always under order when there's not a cover available. All right, so this is the new cover to Department of Truth number 11. This is the regular A cover. It continues the Bigfoot storyline. They're going after the wild fictions. That's what they call them. And when you get near the wild fictions, reality is supposed to really bend. And any innocent bystanders that are around, well, the Department of Truth isn't going to let you just walk away seeing what you've seen.
Yeah.
So that's the A cover. We have by Simmons. We have the B cover by Henderson. Look how wild that
That
is.
is so cool.
Yeah.
Yes. Like we've said, I mean, they just tell the artists on Department of Truth, just go try to draw covers that break people's brains or scare them. Here is the C cover. The artist's name is Young. I do not believe it is Scotty Young. I don't have a first name on this.
That was... it gets a little bit of a Planet of the Apes vibe, too.
For sure.
With the way the light is, it looks like it's wearing a shirt and stuff, but there's a lot of intelligence to that Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm. And here's an interesting thing. So those are the 3 covers for issue 11. They have announced #1 6th print, but not just 6th print. They call it #1 6th and final print. So this is the last time they're reprinting issue #1. They're trying to make a big deal of it. They're doing incentives. We don't show incentives on this show, but they're actually doing an incentive if places order enough. So if you want to make sure you get all the Department of Truth covers for issue #1, this will be your last chance to order. This is their 6th and final printing.
Next up is a series I'm so excited about, and it's still not out yet.
I know.
But, I mean, this is just the epitome of fun. This is Skybound X. This is for #4, which is this weekly kind of oversized book celebrating 10 years of Skybound, who, of course, is Robert Kirkman's sub-publishing of Image with Invincible and Walking Dead and Birthright and all of those. So in each of these we get little stories from different books in that publishing. And then, of course, we get the A story that's in these, which is Rick Grimes 2000, the crazy futuristic Walking Dead world. And I love that we get this A cover that is a Charlie Adler cover.
Yep.
So, I mean, that is as Walking Dead as you get.
Very appropriate.
Very appropriate, but drawing this crazy Rick on the cover.
And on top of that, yes, Negan has a laser futuristic bat, a futuristic Lucille. That's what that's lit up. So
That's
it's
cool.
lightsaber against future
That's
Lucille.
awesome.
The other thing I did want to mention about this issue, this is the first appearance of Sea Serpent's Heir, which we're getting a lot of familiar stories in these. Walking Dead. This one's going to have a new redneck story.
Oh.
But it seems like in each of the issues there's a little short story for a property that's going to be spinning out of this. So first appearance of this new one. We don't know a whole lot about it. I think there's a cover that has some of it. But this is Sea Serpent's Heir as well. This is the Randolph cover, which he is the artist on Excellence, another Skybound book that we get a story from. And then I believe this is the Sea Serpent's Heir.
I know. I was trying to figure out. I was like, who is this guy?
It keeps sounding like I'm saying Sea Serpent's Hair, but it's like
H-E-I-R?
H-E-I-R, heir to the throne or whatever. But I love this cover because this is an homage to Invincible #1.
Yeah.
Where Invincible's standing against the cracked wall, like in a fighting pose. So, just another little subtle nod to Invincible, so I have to buy it.
All right, up next we have Parasomnia #2. This is the 4-part series from Dark Horse written by Cullen Bunn again. So this is cover B, Ward variant. So we're going to hopefully find out more about what world we're actually in. Is this a fantasy? And what is up with the missing captured boy? So hopefully we get a little more into the mystery with issue #2.
All right, so this is the Eastman variant. I mean, a really cool one.
Yeah.
Of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Annual for 2021. So, there's a lot of times where people are buying the book when they want to. These annuals are a great time to step back in and get it, because it's going to be sort of a special story that's outside. You don't have to read the other 100 issues to get it. So in this one, the Rat King begins something called the Armageddon game. That's about all I know on it. That and this cover, I think that's enough to determine if you should purchase this or not.
Next up is Spawn 320. This is the Matina variant. And what's really exciting about this one is about Spawn is forced to make a decision. that will kind of catapult him into what will be the King Spawn series coming next month. So, yeah, definitely want to find out what is going to be the reason for this new King Spawn series, and this should explain it.
I think the solicitation said something about like expanding his villain roster, so there might be a first appearance of a new villain in this.
Yeah, he has not met the kind of new villain that was in Spawn's Universe number 1, where it's an old villain with a new title. It may be him coming face to face with that character for the first time, but I know McFarlane. I mean, when you've got multiple series coming out now, you got to expand that roster to fill it up. So.
Yeah.
All right, Vinyl number 2. This is written by Doug Wagner, who of course did Plastic. He's moved on to Vinyl. A lot of you picked up issue number 1, and in issue number 2, we're seeing Walter's FBI agent friend, who has been blackmailed into joining the Sunflower Cult, and now Walter gets to show off or explore his serial killer tendencies in a justified, righteous way. Perhaps. So, issue number 2, if you like number 1, it's time to get number 2, so don't forget to order it.
Another number 2 for a new book that is available for order is Good Luck number 2. So number 1 came out last week, if you enjoyed that. In number 2, the Unfortunates, that is the characters born without any luck, are going to meet the gods who are over luck altogether. They're called the Constellations. So if you enjoyed the first issue, here's your chance to sign up or order issue number 2.
Next up, I don't know if you've heard, but something is killing the children. This is number 18, and we are still kind of in that origin story arc. But this is supposed to be a big issue. This is supposed to be from the scuttlebutt around the water cooler. This is the first appearance of a big new character, and then also has a kind of a critical moment in Erica Slaughter's origin that sets her on the path that we know that she ends up with. So, I mean, if there's any more reason to pick up Something's Killing the Children, I mean, at this point, it's like every issue, you get it. It's an investment. It's also a great read. Yeah. But this one in particular.
The mouth they have on this character, obviously you see its scary teeth and all that, but it also looks sort of like a staircase to me.
Also, it's what her mask looks like.
Right. Yep.
But is it based on this?
Well, they're just exploring the house. That's the only reason I make that possible staircase distinction as well.
All right, this is Barbaric number 2. Number 1 just came out this past week. So this book makes no bones about being irreverent, just kind of crazy, violent, bloody insanity. So issue 2 promises to be no different. So first up we have, this is number 2, the B cover by Hickson. And then we have the number 1 second print. The number 1 did really well. We sold all of our black bag covers, so people are really excited about it. It's got the talking axe, so what's not to love? So this is the number 1 second print.
Available for order is Blue Flame number 3. So this was lauded as a very important, awesome book. I've enjoyed the first 2 issues, but I'll have to read more before I can say it's as great as they said it was going to be. It's definitely been a solid read, though. I will be reading this issue. So this one takes place 7 months after the incident, and that is what this bad thing that happened when they were doing sort of a press conference with a lot of people. It has to do with the shooting. At the same time, the Blue Flame, in the other time period, is trying to build a case of why humanity deserves to live. And he's been working on this case for some time now, and the aliens are getting very impatient. They're ready to hear his pitch. So Blue Flame number 3, available to order or available to let your store know, hey, sign me up on that one. I like the first 2. I don't want to miss out.
Next up is Red Room number 3.
It's hard to look at.
I guess I'm just that kind of degenerate, but I really liked issue 1 and 2. And number 3 sounds interesting because it kind of takes it to a different place where it's about a programmer who started this drug ring, and he's now in jail, but the FBI comes to him to infiltrate the red rooms, and for doing that, he will get out of jail, but he may find out that jail was better than the assignment. So, I mean, we have a lot of people on this, a lot of people loving it. It is exactly what that cover promises.
I haven't read issue 2 yet. Okay, I read issue 1. The character in the pupil of the eye. Was that character in issue 2?
I don't know if is that the
Sort of a white mask,
the
white
poker
suit
guy? I'm not
Yeah, it's kind of
positive.
too small for me to
because
see.
I would assume that that's the person putting the needle in the eye. I also
Yeah.
like with this cover, they've turned an eye into a person because it looks like hair,
Yeah.
but it's not.
Or
It's
sweat,
clearly blood or sweat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, like the content or not, I mean, this is some incredible art to this
Oh,
book.
yeah.
Ed Piscor's is so detailed and amazing. If you guys
Incredible.
know who is in the pupil, put it in the comments.
Unless you know them in real life, then just
Then-
keep that to yourself.
I don't want to be involved.
Yeah.
All right, this is Nightwing number 78, the third printing. So this issue just keeps doing really well. They gave it a second printing. First one sold out, of course. And now we're on to a third printing. And I love this because if you notice, we have the dog dreaming. And we get to see what he's dreaming about. So
That is a
really
wonderful.
Is
Very
this the
adorable.
first appearance of Bitewing's suit?
I think
Maybe, now
maybe,
you
yeah.
mention it.
Yeah.
Because, of course, Bitewing only has 3 legs,
Mhm.
and so, being able to fly, that's just,
I like that even in his dreams he still only has 3 legs, but it's a really cute cover for Nightwing 78 third printing.
There's only so long until they have to make this happen.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the second print for Legends of the Dark Knight number 2. And notice there's an upside down question mark in green, and that is because it is the first appearance of Quiz, who is a new Riddler. I don't know if she's like a Robin to him or what. I think that's
Riddler
sort of,
adjacent.
yeah, I think she works for Riddler as sort of a sidekick. So it was sort of a surprise when she was in issue number 2, and so it's gone back for a second print. If you want to collect up all those new firsts, this is your chance to do such.
The opposite of a first is a last.
Yeah.
So X Factor number 10 that just came out this week had the I won't spoil it yet, but there's even a cover for a new series that spoils it. But there is a major death that is going to kick off Trial of Magneto, and people freaking out about it. I talked about what I thought about it on our spoiler-free preview show the other day, but if you want to get this, I'm excited to see what they put on the cover. Is it one of the panels from the end of the book? We'll have to see. But this is X Factor number 10, second printing.
I'll say, if they reprint this for people who are buying it just because of the big thing that happened, it would literally be the thinnest comic ever. It would just be it'd be like 1 page front and back.
Yeah.
There it is. The rest of it's just for you people who are reading X Factor.
All right, and then this looks familiar, doesn't it? That's because it is the second printing of Planet Sized X-Men number 1. And that's all I have to say about that.
All right, Asagi Ujimbo number 20 goes back to second print because it is the first appearance of Yukichi Yamamoto, who you can see there front and center. She's a character, she met Usagi one time. Okay, so a lot of people, I don't think they know. They think they're related. They think this is an older character. No. She had met him one time during training, and now she's back in his life. And as you can see, she's sticking around. In fact, the solicitation for this reprint says she's a new reoccurring character. So I think that's a huge deal with him getting his Netflix show. So if you think that's a huge deal too, you probably want to tell your store to order one for you.
Next up is, man, I'm getting all the ones without covers. This is Power Rangers Unlimited Edge of Darkness number 1, second printing, which, of course, is the first appearance of the Phantom Ranger,
Ooh.
who has a really awesome design. I mean, a lot of these one-shots have really taken off, and, yeah, they're doing a second printing.
Yeah, they don't release a new Ranger too often. When they do, it tends to be a color they already have, taking up the mantle. This is just his own thing.
Yeah.
So.
All right, now we're going to get into some trade paperbacks and collected editions of things. Starting it off, we have Swamp Thing New Roots. This is a $16.99 trade paperback, and it collects a lot of the stuff that was originally released in the Walmart exclusive stuff. So we get to have it now. And it is, the main thrust of the storyline is the Swamp Thing is going up against the evil corporations who are destroying his environment and his land and all that stuff. So $16.99, if you didn't grab it out of somebody's grubby hands at Walmart, you can get it now all collected.
How rude.
All right, another thing that they're collecting, they're doing this in 2 volumes. So I'm going to speak about each one. And the reason they're doing that is these one-shots that this is collecting from Heroes Reborn, they were 40 pages each. So each one was already double size. And you're going to get 5 of each of them in these. So there are two sets, so it's 10 40-page comics each. So 5 of them in this one. They're $19.99. So this is Heroes Reborn, America's Mightiest Hero Companion. I'm glad they didn't write that all on the cover because that's a mouthful. Trade paperback volume 1, $19.99. The first one is collecting Hyperion and the Imperial Guard, the Amazing Shutterbug, Magneto and Mutant Force, Young Squadron, and Siege Society. I really enjoyed reading all of these. I really enjoyed reading Heroes Reborn in general. It's one of those series that I'm going to give it a year. I'm going to read it all again because it was so good. And then there's a volume 2, which is just the other 5 of the one-shots, which is Squadron Savage, Marvel Double Action, Night Gwen, American Knights, and my favorite, if I haven't said enough, Weapon X and Final Flight. I've given a few of those away to some of my favorite customers who missed it. It's like, you got to read this one. This one's good. Out of all 10, honestly, the one I was really excited for was Night Gwen, but that wasn't my favorite one. Like, a lot of the other ones were even better. So these are $19.99 if you were just waiting for them to be collected, or if you read them and you just had a good time like I did and you want to be able to read them again without having to. It's hard for me to find my individual comics a year later. They're in the main collection then. Easier to find the graphic novels.
Next up is Dark Horse Book of Horror. This is the trade paperback. So you may have seen this before in hardcover. It came out a few years ago, but it is coming out in paperback. And I actually own the hardcover of this because this is everything I like. This is a collection of comics, like shorts, as well as prose. So the comics, you have some Hellboy with Mike Mignola. You have Kelly Jones, Kurt Busiek, which is really cool. But you also get prose stories by people like Robert E. Howard, William Hope Hodgson. And then on top of that, sporadically through the book, you have Scott Alley, who is one of the editors at Dark Horse, did interviews with experts on the occult. So a bunch of just crazy interviews that are really interesting are all in this book. This is a very thick book, but it is only $24.99. Highly recommended. Even just the Hellboy stuff is really cool in this. So really, really nice that they're putting this out in paperback.
There's a lot of talented people.
Yeah, there's even more. I didn't name them all. There's a lot.
All right, and this is the Marvel WandaVision special. This is $14.99, and they didn't really say a lot of what's going to be in this, but it seems like it's mostly interviews with the cast, talking about the show, talking about their characters, the experience of filming this. So it was a really unique thing for Marvel to do this show, so it'll be interesting to read some of it behind the scenes. Hopefully we'll get some of the creators and some of their thoughts on it as well. So just $14.99, little magazine entry for Marvel Studios WandaVision.
All right, and that is our show for this week. Thank you for joining us on Comics from the Future.
Woohoo!
Yay!
We hope you all have a really happy 4th of July weekend. Hopefully you get some extra time off and you get to read some of those books that you buy. Wouldn't that be great? All right, any closing words?
We'll see, hopefully, many of you on Tuesday when Andy and I review the new books as they come out. It's always funny, it's like 3 weeks from now we'll be reviewing these books.
Stuff, yeah.
And
we should start putting our claims on it now. Looking through here, it's like, okay, I already read Superman. I'll do that one in 3 weeks.
All right, well, we will see you guys back next week. If you haven't subscribed, and make sure to hit to get notifications so you can see when we do our next videos, and we will see you next time.